Welcome to this edition of the Vernon Hills Update. We're taping on December 2nd with Hawthorne District 73 Superintendent Dr. Pete Hannigan. And like all the superintendents around, you're a busy guy, and who knew what it was going to be like to be an educator and an administrator in the age of COVID, huh? It's something.
Nobody knew. It is something. Thanks for having me on again, Lynn.
Well, and we're just touching base, especially, I know the parents are staying very well informed, and so we have information for them, of course, but this is also for the whole community who might be sitting there and wondering, what is school like in the age of COVID? And I know because this all started last spring, so now this is, your second school year doing this. Do you want to go back and cover any history or kind of the parameters or how you're doing there at Hawthorne? How's it going?
It's going well. I'm very proud of how our staff and students in the community have stepped up to the challenge. None of this is easy for anybody. You go back to last year, and as I've shared on previous episodes, but going back to March 13th when we shut down school for the year for the most part, which then translated into moving into the 2021 school year. You would never think we would be in this type of situation, and just how education has evolved over the last 6-7 months. It is pretty remarkable. This has been a collaborative effort. We really started planning for the fall of 2020 back in April, with we had a large committee made up of our teachers, custodial staff, maintenance, food service, transportation, administrative team, and parents, and we worked through all the variables, looking at the recommendations from the Illinois State Board of Education, the Illinois Department of Public Health, the CDC. We looked at a lot of different research, what was happening, in other countries, across the country, across our own country, as far as what we can and can't do as far as educating our students, and trying to come up with the best plan that works for Hawthorne. And that's important to note, because there's a lot of different variables that we have to take into consideration when trying to implement the guidance from the Illinois State Board of Education and the Illinois Department of Public Health. And every school district is not the same. I know it's hard not to compare us to other school districts, but we had to take all that information and the research and the science behind it and apply that to Hawthorne.
Well, and to tell people what's been going on, because you all, like all the other schools, you went virtual right away, and you all jumped in, and the teachers jumped in, and you had tech rollouts, and you really ramped up fast. But what does school look like, at least today on December 2nd, and what do you expect going forward?
Yeah, today, as of December 2nd, we are full remote. So our students are engaged in learning 5 hours a day. They go between live instruction and independent work throughout that instructional day, following all content areas. Our students are being assessed. We are measuring student achievement. That's our number one priority as a public school system, is student learning, and what are we doing to improve student learning, regardless of whether our buildings are open or not. All along since back in August, I regularly remind our staff and our community that learning is still occurring. Just our buildings are closed at this time. And it's unfortunate. It's not what anybody wants. But at the same time, we have to keep the safety of our staff and students and the community as a whole as our number one priority. And we will work with our students and get them to where they need to be.
When you talk about all subjects, it's not like it's just the basic three. We used to say reading, writing, arithmetic, but you do like the arts. You have engaging, even gym class. There's movement. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah, our students are all engaged in live instruction with PE, art, music, electives, STEM classes. You name it, we're doing it. Back in August, I shared with our staff, we're replicating the instructional day. Imagine August of 2019. And fast forward to August of 2020, the only difference is that our students are not in our buildings, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But as a district, we did at the last board meeting in November, the board did approve the hybrid model when it is safe to do so, following the Lake County dashboard. And so, in fact, on November 30th, we did close the window. We had all of our families kindergarten through 8th grade as well as pre-K through 8th grade special education, have families register for either hybrid or full remote, and then as well as transportation, because we do want our students back in session safely following the Lake County metrics, but we want to have all of the pieces to the puzzle in place so that when the Lake County Department of Health indicates that it is safe for our students to return to hybrid, we can pull the trigger immediately and not have to go through all the steps in order for that to happen. And so at the December 10th board meeting, we will be sharing out, the numbers of families that have registered for either hybrid or remote and transportation, things of that nature. We also surveyed all of our families with respect to how remote learning is going and looking for opportunities, as well as how we can support our families. Because again, as I've shared, this is not easy. We're looking at the social emotional component of supporting our families and our students, whether it's through food, through housing, through social work, things, that type of support. And so we were soliciting feedback from our families and, what do they need? And so we'll be reporting all that information out at the December 10th board meeting.
And we can always watch your December 10th board meetings. You do online meetings, and I know you post them. So that's something people can look into. And when you say hybrid, what does hybrid mean?
So a hybrid, so what the model will look like, it's essentially facilitated remote learning or concurrent learning, because due to the fact that the main requirements from the Illinois Department of Public Health and the Illinois State Board of Education is that we have to maintain 6 feet social distancing between students, we have to wear a mask, and we have to self-certify. So with that being said, a typical classroom would house, anywhere from 20 to 25 students in a given classroom. And when you spread students out 6 feet apart, you cannot get 22 to 25 students in a classroom. And so when we talk about hybrid, the goal, which was presented back in November, is that students would attend 2 full days of school in person, and then 3 days remotely. And so, but when the students are in person, they are basically going to be what they're doing today on December 2nd at home. They would be doing it just in a classroom. It's the same, because the teacher's going to have, if Dr. Hannigan has a class of 23 students, half my students would be in person, the other half would be at home. And the teacher, I would be teaching my students through Zoom or whatever the learning management system is, as well as teaching the students in front of me. So it has to be concurrent. So we're not running 2 different types of schools. So our families, if they chose the remote option, they would still have the same teacher that they currently have. It's just an opportunity for our students to come into the buildings and get some in-person instruction. Mm-hmm. But and even with the in-person instruction is not going to look like, again, like August of 2019. Teachers aren't going to be pulling small groups of students to a table. Literally, our students are going to be assigned a desk 6 feet apart from each other. They'll utilize their technology and devices, to engage in collaborative, conversations with their peers, whether they're at home or in person. But that's what the model will look like when we phase students back in.
That's interesting to think about, because there is so much small group, especially in Hawthorne, because you're very progressive on problem solving and collaboration. And so usually you break off into small groups, but you're going to use your technology to break into small groups, even if you're in person, which makes sense. I never thought about that.
Yep.
And the kids are going to then flip flop. So you have different groups on different days.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, one promise that we made to the community is that we will keep families together. So meaning if the Hannigan kids are going to school on Monday and Tuesday, all 3 of my kids would be in school on Monday and Tuesday. So they're not, we do understand that families, need to make plans and childcare and things of that nature.
So this is ready to go when all of the Lake County and all the other health departments say now is appropriate. And you can't go rogue on something like this. Can you imagine if Hawthorne decides to go rogue, that's just not good for anybody. So you're following just like all the other schools are doing. You're all doing it together. Your superintendents all talk all the time. You plan all the time. Your teachers collaborate all the time. By the way, your staffs are amazing. And, that goes on to, the food service and everybody else who's trying to figure this out. Amazing folks. So
yeah, it truly has been a team effort.
Yeah, it's something else. So good for them. And I know I've gotten to sit on a couple of the remote things. Those teachers don't stop. There is emotion coming out of them. They are bringing it all the time. So that's pretty amazing. Now we talked about technology and what the parents need. And I know you've rolled out technology to a lot of people and you've delivered technology and you have laptop pickups and hotspots and everything else. But if somebody still needs something or they need more because there's so much Wi-Fi usage, again, how do they get a hold of you and say, I know you did a survey, but if now they're like, I'm thinking about it, I need help.
Yep, they reach out to their classroom teachers. They can reach out to their building principal. If they go on our district website, there is a tech help feature where they could reach out to our tech department directly. But we're here to serve. We're going to get our families what they need with respect to technology and support so that their students can be successful. We don't want that to be a barrier for students learning in Hawthorne.
And we touched on social, emotional, just physical health and well-being. And I know you've done meal pickups. Are you still doing where people can come through and pick up meals for the week?
Yes, we're still doing meals. We have the 2 food pantries at Elementary North and Aspen, which has been largely successful with receiving donations from outside providers. We're doing that. Our social workers are in regular communication with our families that need support. Our social work department and special services departments are also connecting families to outside agencies. That we have a list of resources on our district website as well. But again, we're doing the best we can to support all of our students and families during this difficult time.
When you talk about those pantries, how can we as a community, we might not even have kids at Hawthorne, but how can we as a community support y'all?
If they can support us by providing non-perishable goods to both Elementary North and Aspen Elementary by simply calling the main office. If you call the main office or call the district main office, they will put you in touch and you can just drop off those donations at both of those sites. We'd be more than happy to take it.
I was going to say contactless. You can call, drop it, and go.
Yep. You just have to drop it off.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. And is there anything, I mean, we're trying to be supportive just in the whole community of everybody. Watch out for the neighbor. Look who might be falling through the cracks. And that's someplace I know that you're a confidential resource. You take a lot of communication all day, every day, as just about all superintendents do right now. But that's something too that somebody could touch base with you on if you have a concern or you see something you'd like to kind of confidentially reach out.
Yeah, and again, we've shared this. It takes a village. We all need to be in this together. If we come together as a community, we'll persevere and rise above this. Again, none of this is easy. It's not easy for me. It's not easy for our staff, our students. But that's one of the, from a positive standpoint, to see the way our students and how resilient they've been. Just a perfect example is like our Middle North students, participating in the Science Olympiad across, competing against students across the country and thriving. That's the important piece to remember. Our students are resilient and they're doing a great job, as well as our staff and our community. And it's just important to keep that in perspective, and we need to support each other, not bring each other down and, fill the community with negativity, because we're all doing the best we can. Nobody has an agenda with respect to, bringing students back, and we all want what's best for our students. That's why we're here. That's why we came into the profession, and we're reinventing public education, day in and day out. There is no playbook. Nobody has gone through this. Nobody ever thought we would be going through this.
Yeah.
Be patient and supportive. We'll get through it.
Well, and I think that the best word you used is resiliency. Your students are incredibly resilient and they're incredibly positive. And they don't really have a whole lot of life to look back on and go, how weird is this? They're getting through it. If we as adults can kind of keep our emotions in check, oftentimes the kids have a lot better time. So well, it's good to know all the things we can do to help you. We will watch for the December 10th board meeting. We will watch for updates. I know your website is always a good place. If you're trying to figure out what to do or how to do it, you've got all the information there.
Yes, and we're always available. Our staff are ready and able to support our families and our students. Just reach out. We will be here for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all you do. Please share our thanks also with all of the staff, teachers, support staff, everybody who's doing everything they can to figure out, to invent this this contraption as it rolls and improves every day. It's pretty amazing to watch. And won't it be so easy when we go back to kind of a more normal, it's gonna be a breeze for everybody. So.
Never know. I hope so.
Well, with that, we thank you. And everybody remember, if you want to know more about Hawthorne, you can check their website. You can call over to one of your schools or to the district office. You can watch the board meetings, stay informed, and we can support those pantries. Give a call and drop off some things, and you can help another family. So thank you all. Thank you, Hawthorne District 73. Thank you, Dr. Hannigan, and take care and happy holidays.
Thank you. Same to you.